My goal today is to not have flying ants in my hair like I did in the last video. Man, if you are here and you are asking the question, why should I become Catholic? I want to tell you the one reason I think you should, and one reason you should absolutely not become Catholic. It's also complimentary color day in the studio, even down to the hair tie. It's awesome. What's up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. So very glad you are here. Hope wherever you are, you're having an amazing day. It's a beautiful, beautiful spring day. And I can't wait to talk about what we're talking about today, because, you know, like I said in the last video, I really want to make some videos, some content, fill in whatever word you want to use, for people out there who are legitimately giving Catholicism and the Catholic faith a real objective opportunity to speak the truth and explore that. And this was gonna be fun too. I put a lot of thought and work into this one, and I'm excited for it. But as always, before we do any of that, please make sure to like, subscribe, do all the things that help grow this channel. You know, I've been looking at the numbers, trying to not get caught up in analytics and all that stuff, but I've noticed that the majority of people who are viewing the stuff that I put out there are not subscribers. If that's you, please subscribe. It'll be good for you. It'll help grow the channel, and it'll help me get this work out there to as many people as possible. Also, today's video brought to you by me, actually. Brought to you by Father's Lion Studio. If you are interested in commissioning your own icon, or an icon for your family member, or a friend who's coming into the church, or you want to see more beautiful pieces of liturgical art in your parish, or you want to gift your priest, whatever it is, go to GarrettHines.com, fill out the info contact form, let me know what you're interested in, and we will start working on your icon today. And by we, I just mean me, because there's nobody else in the studio besides myself. Man, okay, so today I want to talk about the one, the best, the only reason, okay, maybe not the only, but definitely the number one reason why you should absolutely become Catholic. And I want to preface this by saying I talk to a lot of converts. You know, that's what we converts do. We find each other at Mass and we talk about why we converted. And I've talked to a lot of people who have come into the church over the last little over 3 years, when my wife and I and our 2 kids came into the church. And when I ask the question, why did you become Catholic? The standard answer that I get, and please hear me, if this is you, if this is what you tell people, no judgment. There's none of that. But the standard answer that I usually get or hear or whatever is, I explored the Catholic faith and saw that it was true. Great. That's wonderful. You know, variations of that will be something like, I explored the Catholic claims and found that they were accurate. Or I explored what the Catholic Church teaches and saw the truth of it. Those are all really, really good answers. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't agree with that. However, I have spent a lot of time in foreign countries, sharing the gospel, talking to different people. And what I find most of the time is that that answer doesn't captivate the heart of others. And maybe you're a Catholic and you're thinking, well, that's not my job. Fair enough. But when we share our faith, one of our primary goals should be to captivate the heart of the people that we're talking to, in the hopes that there's just enough of that captivating. It draws them in and encourages them to explore the same things that you explored as a convert. So the best reason I think people should become Catholic And the reason that I try to give people, and I want to do better about giving people as I share my faith, is that when you become Catholic, you enter into the single greatest story of all time. And not only do you get to enter into the story, but you get to be a main character in that story. Are you the main character? No, that's Christ. But do you get to be a significant character in the story of the church? Yes, absolutely. And I want to illustrate that by looking at this journey with 3 different stories. Because when you become Catholic, you are entering into the great story of God. You are entering into what I argue is the single most important story that every human being needs to hear. And when you become Catholic, you enter into the fullness of that story. So I'm going to illustrate it this way. Let's say you're in the group of people who didn't grow up in church. You weren't born into a Christian family. You aren't Christian right now. You're watching this video because something in you was stirred and you're checking out Christianity maybe for the first time. Praise God, thank you for being here. But let's say that's you. And for the sake of time, let's just camp all of that under the umbrella of atheist, agnostic, whatever, but we're just gonna call it atheist. The problem with the atheist story is that you are living Napoleon Dynamite. Yes, I did. But you are. Atheism is so much like that movie. Yes, there are some good things that happen in that movie. Yes, there are some funny moments that happen in that movie if you've watched it enough times. But that movie is stupid. That movie has no point. None of those characters matter. The movie doesn't change if one of them is there and another one is put in its place. That movie has no point. There's no objective value in watching that movie. It is, for all intents and purposes, brain rot. And that's what atheism is. It is a pointless story, void of meaning. Does that mean atheists can't do good things in the world? Of course not. Does that mean good things aren't brought about in the world by atheists? Of course not. But that story has no meaning. And in the atheist world, human beings have no point. We are randomized atoms that happen to coalesce together and form objects that do things. We're just chemicals and dirt, basically. That's the story you live in when you live in the atheist mindset. You have no purpose, no value. I'm willing to argue that one in the comment section. But that's the story. If you are under the atheist umbrella, you are living Napoleon Dynamite. It is what it is. Now, there's a second group of people that I hope are watching this video, and those are all my Protestant brothers and sisters, of which I was one. If you've never watched any of my other videos, if this is your very first video of all time, short about this guy. Grew up in a Protestant home, raised in the Church of Christ, became an evangelical missionary, watched my life fall apart after a bad missions experience, and in the middle of all that turmoil, discovered the Catholic faith, explored it for a few years, decided to convert, and I have been Catholic now for a while, short while. I understand the Protestant perspective because I lived it for a very, 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 very long time. And if I were going to encompass, if I were going to put that Protestant story into one big story that everybody knows, Protestantism is Narnia. It is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Well, all 7 books, really. It is beautiful. It is good. Can you follow Christ and be Protestant? Obviously, duh, yes. And that story is really good. And there's a lot of good things that come from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. My kids love that story. I love that story. It's amazing. But the contrast that I would make for you, if you're Protestant and you're seriously considering becoming Catholic, or you're just exploring it for the first time, Protestant is to Narnia what Catholic, if you don't see this coming, I'm shocked. Protestantism is to Narnia what Catholicism is to the Lord of the Rings. And you'll be hard pressed to find anybody that will tell you that Narnia is a better story than the Lord of the Rings, because it's not. Lord of the Rings is top tier, number one, best of the best, greatest story of all time. If I could only have, what is that? Oh, it's a blue jay. If I could only read one story for the rest of my life, it would be the Lord of the Rings. You have masculinity in its uttermost best form. Aragorn, Gandalf, Frodo, Faramir, Boromir, like epic men. You have incredible femininity. Arwen, oh shoot, I always get the two of Arwen, Eowyn, and a whole host of other incredible women. Even Samwise Gamgee's wife, who I think barely has a mention in all three books, but the way she has home prepared for Samwise when he comes home at the very, very end of the book is one of the most beautiful, untalked about scenes in the whole series. But Lord of the Rings is a rich, deep, meaningful, spiritual journey, and you get to see what it is like to follow Christ in every expression of Christianity. You have Aragorn's kingship, Boromir's failure, Faramir's strength and wisdom, Frodo's dauntless, how do we even say that? Frodo's dauntless, willing heart to go into the darkest of the dark. And yet you still even have Frodo's failure. And then you have Samwise the Faithful. I mean, just so many rich characters. That is the Catholic faith. It is the greatest story of all time because you have Christ at the center. You have his church. You have an endless number of incredible people that you can look up to in the saints, in those who are currently living the faith. It's just an unbelievable story, and it's so rich and so deep. Yes, Narnia is a great story, but it lacks the depth and the fullness that you see in something like Lord of the Rings. And that for me was the big difference. Yes, I was following Jesus as a Protestant, but I was given so many more beautiful gifts and graces when I entered into the Catholic Church. And if you're wondering why you should convert, that's the reason. You get to enter into the fullness of the story. It lacks nothing. You have all the sacraments. You have all the graces. You have all the sacramentals, all the devotions, all the different prayers, the saints, the guardian angels. It just, I don't even know how to go into it more than that. If you're considering becoming Catholic, that's the reason I hope you actually convert. Because you looked into the story of Christ in his church in the Catholic faith, and you wanted to be a part of that story. You wanted to enter into the fullness of that story. I understand all the claims and all the objective truths, and those are all really good things. But at the end of the day, if you convert and become Catholic, I hope it's because you read the story and you wanted in. You wanted to ride side by side with Faramir into battle with the sword of the Spirit to wage war against the evil one, because that's what you're called to do. I hope that you see in Aragorn the kingship of Christ and you want to serve under his headship. The fullness of Christianity is in the Catholic faith, and you get to be a part of the story. You're not an unknown character off on the side somewhere that nobody even knows their name. No, you're a part of the story, and your name, your role matters. So if you convert, if you become Catholic, I hope it's for that reason, because you want to be in on the fullest, greatest story of all time, period. Now, let me address the other side of that. You should not become Catholic if you are looking for a perfect church. If you are looking for the perfect church with no problems, where you can go on Sunday and receive a good preaching, you can get what you need and then go home and everything's wonderful and you won't have any problems, the Catholic Church is not for you. Because you may not know, we have problems. We have problems because we have humans. The hardest part of church are the people. It's true. So if you are looking for a perfect church, if you're tired of the church that you've been going to and you see a bunch of problems there and you want to become Catholic because you think that's not going to have any problems, so sorry to tell you, it's not going to be that way. It might actually be worse. We have a lot of problems. But that doesn't mean the truth of the story is any less good. Boromir's failure when he tries to take the ring from Frodo doesn't make him any less valiant when he tries to rescue and save Merry and Pippin. We have problems in the church. And if you're looking for a perfect church, please don't become Catholic, because we are not that. We are a barely put together vessel trying to make it to the shore of the kingdom of heaven. We got a lot of holes and we're taking out a lot of water. But that doesn't make it any less good. And it doesn't make it any less true or beautiful. If you want to become Catholic, do it because you want to be a part of the story. If you want to become Catholic because you're looking for a perfect church, please don't. Because you will be woefully disappointed. I think that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it right there, because that is a good place to end it. I love being Catholic. I love being part of this story. And I hope when you convert, you find the same joy in your heart about participating in the greatest story of all time. That's all I got for you today. Hope you have an epic rest of your day. I hope you feel inclined to go pick up a copy of The Lord of the Rings and read it, because it's amazing. Have a great rest of your day. Till I see you next time, keep climbing.